Alrighty then guys, welcome back to the Cryptoverse with me, your host, Chris Coney. Today is Monday, the 29th of April, 2019, and I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour of the cryptocurrency space and the news that is important to you as a crypto investor. Having trawled through all the news stories today, probably about 30 or 40 news stories today, to bring you like 5 or 6, I think, that I think are worth paying attention to. Now, if you think my voice is funny today, that's because my middle sister is studying to be a reflexology practitioner, and I volunteered to be one of the case studies. So a few days ago, she did reflexology on my feet and found a block in my lymphatic system, which she unblocked, and then all these symptoms showed up as a healing. So like sore throat, sinus blockage, so on and so forth. So really happy about that. I'm happy about the symptoms because it means that, you know, it's a healing crisis, right? So very happy about that. So we'll just have to deal with the croaky voice for the time being. So let's begin with the IOTA story. So on Reuters.com, they reported that Jaguar Land Rover are planning to allow helpful car drivers to earn cryptocurrency, specifically IOTA. So first of all, let's look at the chart actually, because the price is going mental on IOTA today. You know, as of 3 days ago, calling it the 26th of April, IOTA was falling so consistently that it had almost gone back to its bear market lows. Here, we've got the bear market low being about 20 cents. And it got as low as, what did it get as low as 23 cents, 23.5 cents. And then over the last 3 days, and particularly today, it's boomed right back up to 32 cents. Pretty good. You know, top to bottom, if you look at the whole crash down from the bull market highs, you know, IOTA just got murdered. It experienced about a 96% drop in its value. That was until today, when it's up, right now anyway, it's up 16 odd percent on the day. So that's pretty good news. So now, while this is not concrete, because what it says here in the Reuters article, it says that Jaguar Land Rover says it is testing software that will allow drivers of its cars to earn the IOTA cryptocurrency as a reward for sharing data. So they're testing it. It's not like they've solidified, yes, we're going to use it permanently, it's going to roll out to the entire network. But it is a good milestone. So while it's not concrete, this is enough for people to speculate on it, it seems, according to the charts. Anyway, now the good news is, further down in the Reuters article here, at the bottom, Dominic, the IOTA co-founder and co-chairman of its board, told Reuters, quote, IOTA wants to enable interoperability with all these different players. So there is no Jaguar coin, there's no BMW coin, but one universal token for the machine economy. That's really what IOTA is for, Internet of Things, right? So brilliant. The fact that they're not going to be adding all these different tokens and causing liquidity problems, I would much rather them use the core token, the IOTA token, because that just makes it better for everyone on the network and the network effect can explode. So here's the official confirmation from Jaguar Land Rover themselves in the news section of their website. Here it is. On the money, earn as you drive with Jaguar Land Rover. And then specifically in the third paragraph, let's call it, it says Smart Wallet uses the latest cryptocurrency technology and Jaguar Land Rover has partnered with the IOTA Foundation. There you go. Official confirmation from the horse's mouth. Yes, IOTA, they mention them specifically and say the word partnered. So there we jolly well go. So that's good. That's all confirmed. Pretty good. So if you've got IOTA, good for you. I think I've got a little bit of IOTA, but it's I bought it a little while ago, so it's in the toilet with regards to its price. Moving on to the next story here. Here's a good one. This is from Coinpedia, not a source that I've used very much. So I'm not sure how reliable this is, but it says Dalston London Mosque to accept cryptocurrency donations for Ramazan. I think that's meant to be Ramadan. I think that's a mistype. In any case, like I say, I'm not sure how reliable this site is, but I did report last year on the Islamic scholar who declared Bitcoin to be halal. So that's the basis for this being plausible. So as far as I know, Ramadan starts on the 6th of May and goes through to the 4th of June. But it says here, Dalston, a London mosque, is the first in the United Kingdom to accept Bitcoin donations after an Islamic scholar declared cryptocurrency legitimate under Sharia law. The clerics of the mosque have taken the decision to accept another popular cryptocurrency, Ethereum, to get repairs carried out at the mosque in Shackwell Lane, it says. And then it says about donations, it announced it intends to raise at least $10,000 of cryptocurrency in donations for Ramadan through cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and Muslims are requesting to pay 2.5% of their wealth during the 30-day festival as part of Zakat. Zakat, is it? Z-A-K-A-T, Zakat. The annual donation is obligatory for all Muslims all over the world. There we go. So great. There's a validation and a lot more of adoption there from a very large group of people, namely the Muslim community in the world, that can now legitimately use Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically as cryptocurrencies to help out their own community. So pretty good. I think I've done all the quotes from that article, so let's move on to the next one. Credit to Cointelegraph for this next one. Ethereum core developers on one of their recent calls said that they've got funding for ProgPow's third-party audit. So what am I talking about here? Just quickly, ProgPow is the new proof-of-work algorithm that Ethereum is intending to move to scupper all the ASICs out there, right? So it's a different kind of mining algorithm. Now, ironically, I was only speaking to Josh from Easy Crypto Hunter yesterday when ProgPow came up in the conversation. So get ready for a return of the Ethereum-based GPU mining craze, which is what ProgPow promises, to scupper all of the ASICs and bring GPU mining back. Now, if this story is true, you know, the $50,000 in DAI stablecoins that have been raised in donations, they're for a code audit, right? Meaning the code is done, it just needs checking. So that means we're close to this getting a deployment date. Very exciting stuff. Moving on to the next story, also credit to Cointelegraph for this one. MakerDAO CEO departs, points to internal conflicts. So this is a follow-on from a story we've been looking at recently. This is a little bit of progress with the MakerDAO situation in that the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, has left. I'd say this is good news because when there's a deadlock, nothing gets resolved. So eventually, in a deadlock and in a friction, something has to give in order for things to progress, and the CEO leaving is something, right? That's something giving. So now things can shift and move. Now, in terms of price, actually, let's go back to the charts here because MakerDAO has been having a bad time. The MKR token's been having a bad time recently. But it looks like it's hit a bit of a bottom as of Friday. So it's been falling since the 7th of April, all the way down from like $776, and it hit a bottom on Friday of about $470. And it's up a good 15% since then to 552. So I guess confidence is returning to Maker as they resolve their situation. Moving on to the next story. CoinDesk for this one. Let's go to CoinDesk, shall we? US stockbroker eTrade to launch Bitcoin and Ether trading. Now this is interesting. It says in red here, the US brokerage is also reportedly finalizing a third party to hold their cryptocurrencies. That's the part that I look for, right? I want to know whether they're going to be trading the core asset, handling the real bearer asset, or if they're only going to create some sort of kind of stupid derivative. Now, if they're organizing a custody service, as this claims, that means they're intending to handle the actual core asset. That's good in my view because it means real liquidity at the base layer of the market. Furthermore, it says there in the orange, founded in 1982, NASDAQ listed eTrade has close to 4 million customers. Well, it's just a question of how many of those 4 million customers are going to get involved in crypto, and then exactly how much money each one of them puts in. So that's still very much an area of uncertainty. But like I've been saying, as long as we keep hearing stories, you know, of another and yet another and yet another one of these types of companies connecting to the crypto economy, well, that's just the snowball keeps building. And individually, they might not shift the market much, but collectively, they will. Remember Metcalfe's law. The growth is exponential. You know, the value of the network is where you get the number of users and square it. So every additional user doesn't just +1, it's +1 to the total and you square it again. So that's where the exponential growth comes from. So there'll be an inflection point where it suddenly explodes because of a tipping point. Moving on to the next story. Investinblockchain.com gets the credit for this next one. This is more of the warning regards to the Ledger hardware wallet malware. This new crypto malware infects Windows PCs asking for Ledger recovery phrase. So apparently this is a malware that replaces the Ledger Live software on your computer and then it asks you to enter your recovery phrase and then steals it. It's because if it can steal your recovery phrase, then it can rebuild your private key and steal everything on your ledger. I mean, all of it, all of the different 1,000 odd cryptocurrencies that you can store on your ledger. That one recovery phrase would allow the attacker to rebuild the private key, import it into their own ledger device, and then steal all your Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, anything you've got on there. So that's pretty terrible. So I've heard about this story multiple times, so I thought I'd best mention it on the show. What I will say about this is that there is a catch-all solution to avoid getting scammed by this kind of thing, and it's this. With the Ledger hardware wallet, you never, under any circumstances, have to enter your recovery phrase on your computer. So remember that bit. You never, under any circumstances, have to enter your recovery phrase onto your computer. So if you restore your Ledger Nano S from the recovery phrase, you do it all using the screen on the device itself and the 2 buttons on the device itself. So the recovery phrase never touches your computer. It never should have, never should in the future. Secondly, Ledger do provide an app that you can install on the device. It's called Recovery Check. And this thing, you can find out more about it on their support website, but this allows you to enter your recovery phrase to check that it's valid, so you have absolute confidence that your recovery phrase is written down correctly before you get into a crisis situation where you actually need to use it. So if you want to rehearse the process of restoring your recovery phrase onto the device, that's what this Recovery Check application does. And again, you don't install it on your computer, you install it on the Ledger device itself. So again, this process only requires that you follow the instructions on the device, on the screen, and press the buttons. That's it. At no point do you need to do anything on your computer other than using your computer to install the Recovery Check app, itself. But again, just follow the official instructions from Ledger and you should be all right. Fundamentally, once again, the catch-all is that you never have to enter your recovery phrase for a Ledger Nano S on your computer. So if the Ledger Live software asks you to do that, that's an instant red flag and you should stop what you're doing immediately. If you haven't already taken my Blockchain Security Essentials course, then you should do. If you have already taken it, then you'll know all this already. If you haven't taken it, I highly recommend that you take it. But that is all I've got for you today. If you like this episode, please go ahead, hit the like button, click subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell so you get notifications of breaking news when it comes out. Thanks to all my patrons for making this possible. They all get cryptocurrency rewards for being supporters. They get ad-free episodes on the video and the audio podcast, and they get access to the private chat group. You should be one of them. Please join and support the show. Alternatively, you can check out my online courses like Blockchain Security Essentials or the Master Cryptocurrency Trader, which comes with some free cryptocurrency. So when you buy the course, you get some free crypto included that gets you started trading with crypto. Or if you pay for the course with crypto, then you just get money off. So either or, it's up to you. That's all I've got for you today. I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.